Howdy, hey everyone, Fangride here. As follows in this video is Argus's tale from my Minimap, Vigilis Oculos. You can either just hang tight and listen to the whole thing straight through, or you can pick and choose which chapters you'd like to listen to by clicking on the corresponding portrait. The images are where you can find the chest that contains the book itself in-game, if you're having any trouble. So, I hope you enjoy the audio recording. If you want to just listen straight through, just sit back, don't touch anything. But if you're looking for a specific chapter, like I said, just click on the image. I hope you enjoy. Once upon a time, there was a man who loved to watch. What he watched mattered not. He simply enjoyed the pleasure of seeing. Be it the clouds moving across the sky, people walking past his window, or leaves blowing past his feet, Argus loved to watch. But this would become his curse. One sunny day, Argus sat outside his humble home, trees bowing overhead, when a singing caught his fancy. Sight was Argus's favorite thing, but the sound of the song absolutely captivated him. He did something stunning. Argus closed his eyes. The moment he did, he felt a pain overwhelm his mind, and his eyes would not reopen. The singing stopped, and a peal of laughter rung out from everywhere and nowhere at all. He felt a hand touch his shoulder. "Hello, Argus," a soft female voice rang out, near caressing his ears. "You have been chosen." He shook his head wildly, and the voice laughed softly again. "Your most precious sense has been taken from you, but it shall enable you in the future, Argus." "How will this help me?" Argus lamented. "You will serve a greater purpose," she said. "My master requires your service." Then, with a gust of wind, the presence was gone, and Argus was left alone with darkness. That night, Argus began to work. He had to restore his vision, his freedom, and would not rest until sunlight fell upon his dead eyes again, and he could see it. That night was also the first time he ever killed a man. With his bare hands, he managed to strangle his neighbor and take his eyes. It was then that Argus's work truly began. With those eyes, he created a helm, crafted roughly from stone and enchanted with Argus's blood. He put the helm on the man's head, and Argus could once again see. It lasted for mere seconds, but with the last flickers of life through the dead man's body, Argus could see through that man's eyes. Argus was excited. He had a chance to reclaim his sight. All it cost was other lives. So began the Watchers. Instead of killing his next victim, Argus trapped a friend. Argus tore out their eyes while they still lived, and once again christened it with his blood. Upon placing a helm upon Ferek's head, Argus's vision was restored. But only through Ferek's eyes. Argus saw himself standing before his quivering body. His eyes were black and empty. His hands were caked with blood. His body was small and weak, but he could see again. With a thought, Argus commanded Ferek to move. Ferek did as Argus commanded, stepping forward towards the door of the room. Argus himself collapsed into a chair and sent Ferek out into the night. Argus claimed 3 more souls that night. He found he could see through anyone he claimed. All he had to do was craft a makeshift helm from rough stone, anoint the stolen eyes with blood from his own body, and place the helm onto a living vessel, and Argus could command them at will. There was no more hesitation from the once shy Argus. He sent out his first 4 Watchers into the village he had lived in for nearly 30 years, and slew them all. Argus's Watchers had begun. Argus was unable to claim every one of the villagers that night, as after 5 he grew weak from blood loss. But over the course of a week, Argus had a full command of a village of 100 people. He only branched out from there. It wasn't for another 10 years before Argus would finally meet his master and the woman who cursed him. He would have his revenge. The Palamok was a surprisingly subtle figure. Small and hooded and weathered by age, he stood before the near glory of Argus with almost respect. Beside him stood a woman, blonde and beautiful. She greeted Argus with a quite familiar voice. "Hello, Argus. I see your sight has returned to you." Argus's face screwed into one of anger, and he commanded his first 4 watchers, Ferrek, Erebor, Talia, and Maris, forward. The Palamok laughed at the attempt and waved the creatures easily aside. He spoke. "You seem angry, Argus," the old man said. Argus peered at the man through his watchers and slowly nodded his head. "You robbed me of my life." The Palamok motioned at the woman. "Take her, then." The woman screamed, but it was too late. The 4 watchers fell upon the woman and brought her to Argus. He smiled as he saw himself look down at her blindly. "You caused this," she nodded. "You did this for him." She nodded again. "Then you shall die." He reached down with his pale, thin arms and grasped her soft throat. He tightened his grasp as much as he could, but she could still breathe. Through her slight gasps, she laughed. Argus did too, as the watcher sliced her head off. The Palamok stood still and watched the scene with nary a movement. As the woman's head rolled away, it stopped near his feet. He knelt and touched it, and it dissolved into dust. "We need to speak." Argus served the Palamok faithfully. Gifted life eternal, the master of death itself, Argus commanded his watchers into the lands of Amoriel, and he single-handedly took the mighty castle Amoriel himself. But it was then he retreated and rested. After so long, Argus came home. His watchers swarmed his old village, his creatures retook his temple, and they together moved into the secret part of his fortress. And with him he took the 5 sacred words of the Palamok. Stored within 5 unbreakable blocks, Argus placed them throughout his temple and settled back to rest. He was home, and the world had burned. His sight had been returned, and he was home. But he was